Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us at the Sedona International Film Festival. I'm your host, Carol Kahn. We are coming to you live from Sedona Rouge Hotel and Spa. Sedona Rouge is one of our sponsors, along with Broadcast Rentals and Sedona Advertising Agency. Again, we'd like to thank our sponsors for participating in the festival this year. And this is a filmmakers film festival, and I'd like to introduce you to Shelagh with your film. Introduce yourself and your film, please.
My film is a drama called Into Invisible Light, and I would call it's somewhat of a poetic piece, I feel, because it deals with memory, and it deals in this woman's life in particular, and I think all our lives. What would you do if you had a second chance to look back at choices you've made in relationships, in love and career, and just what life composes of. It's my interest, I think, in terms of life, and as I get older and as a filmmaker, what really happens to us in terms of life choices. It was based on the actress. We wrote it together, the leading actress, because I worked with her on a short film. And she reminded me of a character from Uncle Vanya, Helena. And so I don't know how many people are aware of that writer, but in Chekhov, when he looks at people's stories, there's so much humanity. And in particular for that character, she was someone who was gifted with great beauty, and because of that, never really was challenged to develop her inner life. And so we moved it forward to a contemporary time. And Jennifer was very interested to examine that in terms of, we shared personal stories. And we also brought forward a character from that novel, Michael, and looking at them both meeting up again, her handling the grief of losing a first husband. And then as well, the film examines what it means to be an artist. And in that, Michael has a daughter, who you see here, who is very close to her father and really wants to know what it takes, and so it asks a lot of questions, I think, in terms of that.
Well, let's take a look at the clip and then we'll talk more.
Okay.
You ever feel your life just veered off somewhere? No idea how. From whatever you might have been or done. Hello?
I thought it was you.
Oh, I guess it must look so different.
Quite wonderful. How long?
We gone 3 weeks, a month, maybe. I'm not sure.
You still writing?
Me? Oh, no. No, I don't anymore.
You were so good back then.
New assignment. Write from a moment in your past where you made an irrevocable choice.
Secret benefactor, huh? I always suspected.
How'd your audition coming?
It's fine. Better than sex.
What?
Do you think it's possible for a person to wake up and start over, no matter how late it is?
I'm curious, what do you get out of being so obtuse?
Forget it. I can't make you understand.
Why are you never here? Where were you?
Every time you watch it, you have this look on your face. Why?
How would you describe it? God, I think, being a director or being an artist, creatively, like to really struggle to be creative is to tolerate so much uncertainty. And so when I look at it and I think, my God, we made it. And we made this film, and I relive the experience, I think, the process, because it's so deeply entrenched in you in terms of what it took to make the film and all the people that helped you to make the film. So there's a huge responsibility as the director, because you can't do it alone. You want the best idea up there. So, in that process of collaborating, it's the family comes together, it's very emotional. There's a lot of problem solving. We had, I think, 16 days to shoot it. There's a lot of things that change on you, and suddenly you're like, we lost a major location, so I was rewriting a section of it. But I think it made the film better. I think all those challenges, I hope, it's my opinion. And then you come to an audience, which is so important, because the audience always relates to your film in ways that you don't even expect. That subconsciously you've invested in the film in a way that has I don't know, it's this beautiful relationship, So I go on.
No, I think it's interesting because you bring up very valid points. I mean, I think when we get, as life goes on, we always look back and think, okay, what if we made this decision, or what if we were with this particular person instead of the person we ended up with, or how life would be different. But also, when you look back at life, don't you think that there's markers along the way that kind of set us a step further, and then as we look back, we know why those things happened?
I think so. I mean, I think that's one of the qualities of living a long life, or even having a chance to take that breath to really, it depends who crosses your path again. I guess it's some of that, right? The things you can't control. And so in that sense, perhaps the film is very adult in terms of that opportunity as an older person, but yet the young person is there, and she's looking at some choices in the film that she makes that strike to her, and I don't want to answer all the questions. I just want to put the film out there, because I know that to me anyway, can't tie everything up, but how wonderful that we can actually look at life again and possibly learn from it. I mean, I think that's
exactly.
Yeah.
Learning lots of lessons.
Learning lots of lessons, and I hope, and certainly I don't mean to be that that's the only way you do things, but perhaps the structure of the film is somewhat poetic, maybe more of a mood piece, though it is plot driven, because the way we captured it. I have a fabulous DP, Osama Marai, who I've worked with now several times. He's become a mentor. And in terms of just talking to him as a director about what does the title mean, what's the metaphor, about, revealing inner life through thought. So we'll see.
Well, has the film played already?
Yes, we were fortunate. We had a theatrical release in Canada, and it's been in several festivals. But this is particularly meaningful to me, as I mentioned before we started, that I came to Sedona with my first feature, and we're treated so well as filmmakers, and so to be back is very special. And I want to do a shout out to a friend who's sitting there, Bob Reynolds, because Bob Reynolds has been so supportive. We met many, many years ago, and it's just the quality of making, ongoing relationships and as filmmakers, And so thank you, Sedona. Thank you.
Thank you. You are the filmmaker. Without you, this would not be possible. So thank you for being here. And your film is going to be shown when again?
It's actually, it'll for the first time tomorrow at 4:00 at Harkness, and then Saturday at 10 at the other theater,
Mary Fisher. So
Mary
Harkins
Fisher.
first, then Mary Fisher afterwards. And how can people find out about your film? Do you have a website?
I think A71 has it in their catalog. My film site for it is www.darklingcinema.com. where it's under my features. And Darkling Cinema is also on Twitter. So,
Well, thank you. Thank you, Sheila,
Thank you.
for being with us. We appreciate that.
Thanks.
And following us on social media, don't forget it's hashtag Sedona Film Fest 2020 and hashtag Sedona Film Fest 26. We'll be back with more filmmaker interviews after this.